Someone shot the food. Life force flooding out.
Good evening, everybody. It is Monday, March the 1st.
Yikes.
Just a little bit ahead of myself here. Monday, March the 1st. Welcome back to your live Mr. Video Game Live Super Show Live, as brought to you live by Dead Sun Entertainment. Hope everyone is having a great day. We are coming back to you live, as you might know. I'm Slacker Kite. I do the editing around here and push buttons, make thing go, and put thing in order. Know me, Giant Pie. Great to see you all with us. Marilyn, thank you for continuing your streak with your Amazon Prime account. That's a great thing to use out there. If you happen to have Amazon, you don't have to put it to us, but we would like it a lot. Anyway, welcoming back to the show, as always, we have our good journalist boy, the man with the words about the things. It's Brian, aka Wonder Boy.
Yo, I'm I'm here. I was running late, but I'm here. I'm not gonna lie. I lost track of time playing a game that we're gonna talk about a little bit later on, and didn't realize that it was almost time for the show. So I feel good about myself today.
You could say that you are very busy getting some last minute details for the show today, so.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what I was doing because it's a game we're going to talk about, or at least I'm going to talk about later on. Also, the fact that Blaseball is back kind of sucked up some time also. So, yeah. Why were you expecting me to come on rapping? That is an interesting idea.
I would love to hear it sometime when you're prepped for it. I'm not going to just drop on you, hey, drop a sick verse on us. I don't think that's how it's going to happen.
I got bars. No, I don't actually. I don't have bars. Don't. I crush under that expectation. Anyway, no, I'm doing all right. Busy month. Took some time over the weekend to chill. Played some D&D over the weekend, which was rad. That was fun. So we're starting up a new campaign with some of my friends and my partner out here in Portland, and it's shaping up to be fun. But other than that, it's just been a bunch of chilling, playing some games and stuff that we're going to talk about until today, whenever, of course, baseball coming back, work, and trying to catch up on stuff also. Yeah, it's just been a busy day. Weekend was nice, though.
Yeah. Oh, no. Don't you know all the bars are closed in New York right now, so that's not happening. We also, of course, have returning with us today the delightful, as always, Lindsay K. Lady Merowin.
Hi. Yeah, I'm back. I'm on time. I'm enjoying this new shift, so I actually have a life outside of work.
Yeah, you actually have some time to eat food and be a human prior to going live.
Yeah, and kind of spent some time today spazzing about good work or good news I got at work that's going to help shape my career at the company. I can't go into a lot of details. Sorry. Um, I think that covers my sorry quota for the day. So I get to keep my citizenship. I've had to say it a lot. Me? Rap? No, really you wouldn't.
I think you
It's
are the whitest of all of us here on the white scale.
yes and no. I mean, if we count Peter, he's definitely whiter than me.
True.
Um,
I mean, on skin tone, I think you might be less white than either of us, but
yeah, it's that Italian and Greek heritage. Scottish and Irish, not so much. I got that in all of the rest of my coloring. If at least someone raps you'll sub right now.
Not it. Touching my nose can't make me do it.
I'm ripping through the lyrics of Hamilton in my head to try to figure out a place that I can actually follow along with.
Like, I could steal, like, a whole lot of shit and just do that, but where's the panache in that? There's nothing cool to be had by ripping off other people's reps. Okay.
I don't know. It's a talent to be able to do that, even if you can't write your own.
Fair, if you can do it, like, as well as they did, like, I'm not a Snoop Dogg.
No,
I'm
I
not on
understand.
that scale at all.
I mean, I could try.
We could. Anyway,
It would be bad, but I could try.
did all three of us actually spend time playing video games last week or something? What the fuck?
I know.
Yes.
This never happens. Like, all three of us actually did something other, like, related to the show.
Scary thought.
Who should go first? You know, I'm gonna go. Lindsay, how about you go first?
Oh my god, Nomi! Thank you.
Thank you, Nomi. We
Thank you for
appreciate you.
saving me from having to rep. Or rather, thank you for saving the rest of our viewership from having to listen to me try to rap. So Peter visited last week and he got an itch to buy a Switch. So he did.
No comment?
And very promptly built me a profile on it and
Okay.
sat me down with Pokemon Sword.
Okay.
I have not played a Pokemon game since Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
Holy fuck, has a lot changed and I really, really like it.
How so? Like, for somebody, like, I haven't played any of the games really. Like, I think I touched Diamond a million years ago, I want to say. It was like maybe Gen 3. I don't
Well,
remember.
Diamond and Pearl were in the era of the Nintendo DS.
Yeah, it was definitely a DS game that I played because my friends had an extra one that they just got somehow by accident. Uh, so they gave it to me, and I just kind of went, I don't get it, and then stopped. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So my progression with Pokemon has been Blue,
Mm.
Pearl, and now Sword. So I've just been tripping through the generations on this, and I will admit it has come a very long way from the super pixelated top down.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Actually, actually seeing your Pokemon perform moves
Ooh.
during battle is really cool.
Rather than do the thing where they go bonk.
Yeah, that's it exactly. Although quick attack is still very much an bonk.
Fair
So,
enough.
new starters, of course, and there's a shit ton of new mechanics. Like one actually being able to customize your trainer is really cool.
Okay.
And your whole motivation for going to all of these different gyms to try to beat down the gym leaders is not because you want to be recognized as awesome, but because you're actually in a tournament already
Okay.
And the competition of the tournament is to go defeat as many gym leaders as humanly possible. Um, and you also get like Gigantamax, which I heard of and went, "The fuck."
Oh, there is
You have
one specifically.
Pokemons and you
Yeah.
evolve them. That's it. But apparently, there's this wild area that has all of these Pokemon dens, and it's like one single boss fight where it is a wild Pokemon that has been Gigantamax, so they are like literally 30 or 40 feet tall. And then you have to try to beat the ever loving hell out of them and try not to die.
I'm gonna link you my favorite Gigantamax in the Discord, and
Oh boy.
yeah.
I have to say, my first one was against, I think it was a Clefairy or a Cleffa,
Oh, a baby Clefairy
I guess.
then.
I don't know. I know the original 151 and that's it.
About the same, yeah.
Um, so the Cleffa is horrifying seeing something that adorable a million feet tall. Um, it was a lot creepy, but the fact that you get to try to catch them if you beat them down, and if you don't have like the 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 Pokemon that allows you to like, or like the Nintendo Connect or whatever it is where you can actually play online.
Ooh, yeah.
If you don't have that, because these are designed to be like 4 or 5 people raids,
Mm.
they just give you NPCs.
Yeah, and I hear sometimes NPCs can be better than what you would get anyway at times.
Sometimes, and we've also discovered that if you use Pokemon Home with it, where you can pull Pokemon from your Pokemon Go,
Mm.
um, and say you've got a Pokemon that translates to be like a level 100,
Mhm.
if you bring that in with you
Mm.
as your main Pokemon, all of the NPCs match that level. So you're taking on a level 40 with a level 100 team.
So you just kind of step on it then.
Yeah, you ruffle stomp. It's beautiful.
Hmm.
Um, so that's definitely interesting. Much spazzing. But yeah, I mean, overall, I've had no complaints with it. I mean, you can actually see and avoid Pokemon in the tall grass. So it's not like take a step, new battle, take a step, new battle, take a step, new battle. You can actually dodge them,
Yeah, I did love
which,
that regardless, you just walk through grass and it's like 4 steps in the original and then you're in. It doesn't matter.
yeah, this I could dodge, which is great when you're trying to get somewhere and you're like, "Oh, fuck, more grass." And so you can actually just bounce through and dodge. So overall, I'm loving it. I kind of hope he brings his Switch with him when he visits this week
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
I want to play more.
No comment. Anyway.
Jesus fuck, Trav.
I'm
I
sorry, I'm 12. You know that.
I give like white flag of surrender. I fucking give up.
That phrase just broke me. Oh, Lord. Anyway,
I'm confused. Anyway,
don't worry about it.
it's okay.
Uh, so I have been playing Persona 5 Strikers? Yeah. Um, it keeps breaking in my head because I think it used to be named Scrambles, right? And then they renamed it at some point or another.
It might have been. I don't remember that, but I also haven't followed the development of this game very closely. So,
Okay, I'm going to say right now, if you really don't want any spoilers for Persona 5, maybe tune out for the next couple of minutes because it's impossible to talk about this game without somewhat spoiling the original Persona 5. That being said, the game certainly can be played as its own standalone, but it basically just gives away everything that happened in the original Persona 5. So you could play this without having played Persona 5, but you're going to suddenly know everything that fucking happened. So you start off with your team that you had made together, the Phantom Thieves, throughout Persona 5. You're all together now. I will say that Persona 5 Royale apparently did not happen in this universe, so any additions that came with Persona 5 Royale, any characters that I don't know the full details of what happened in Royale, because I am not going back and playing 120 hours worth of fucking RPG again. Holy shit. But yeah, anything that happened there didn't take place. Everybody comes back to the city for summer vacation, and you're all talking about what wonderful summer vacations you're going to do. But uh-oh, the metaverse has come back. Why has the metaverse come back? Didn't we destroy everything? Wait, it's not the metaverse. It's a whole new thing called jails. And you do... there is a lot of talking to go on with all of your characters together. There's a lot of dialogue, a lot of cutscenes, but there is not any of the companionship stuff from the original Persona 5, so if that's what you enjoyed about Persona 5, that is not here. However, this game's fucking baller. I love it. The dungeons are the cream of the crop now, and basically the Persona verses, the jails are very similar to the castles from the original Persona 5. You still sneak around, and you can ambush enemies and whatnot. This one does a lot more platforming than Persona 5 the original did. I don't remember any platforming outside of walk up against the thing and press X to initiate movement with this thing. You can jump, you can double jump, you can grab ledges in this. There's some side-scrolling bits. Sometimes you have to avoid being seen by searchlights, that sort of thing is going on. But the real charm of it is when you hit battle. Instead of the enemy splitting into like 1, maybe 3 enemies for you to fight, they split into like fucking dozens of enemies that sometimes come in waves. So this is kind of where the Musou gameplay comes in, but also kind of not. They took all of the mechanics from the original, so if you knock down an enemy, you can do the all-out attack again that basically destroys everything in a wide circle around what you started out the attack with, especially with an ambush. You can start out, do all-out attack, and everything goes down, and it feels so fucking satisfying when you do that properly. Now, of course, there are a lot of higher enemies wandering around. You're collecting personas. And as well, when you try to either summon a persona or use your gun, the game slows down a lot for you to look through your persona inventory and find the correct persona you want to summon to do whatever, if you're looking for your fire spell, your protect spells, whatever, they're all still here. So how the personas worked in the game carry over to this. So whatever spells you're expecting from different enemies types that you can gather, still here. As well, each character has their own playstyle, whereas Joker, you're just mashing your X button and throwing in your Y when you want to combo a heavy attack in with your lighter attacks. With the others, say like Morgana, you can turn into a fucking bus and run things over. Very similar with another character who pulls out her motorcycle and sets her whip on fire. There's a whole lot of very interesting things that you can do with all of your different characters, and they're still useful because sometimes you just need to go hard on those cold spells, and that is what these secondary characters are all about, while your main character is your jack of all trades for most of your dungeon when you don't need anything particularly special to take down monsters.
Hmm.
It's
Interesting.
fun. Go
I would imagine it's fun. Like, I mean, everything that I've seen around it, like, looked like enough of a twist on the Muso genre that it would be interesting. And like I said, along with Age of Calamity, Omega Force is showing that they can actually adapt this Muso style with a licensed product and actually be able to like do something a little just different enough to make you not feel like you're full on playing a Muso game.
Yeah, this doesn't even really feel like a Musou game to me. It feels like you took Persona 5 and action RPGified it, and then gave us waves of monsters through which to use the action RPG through. And
Hmm.
that's cool. I have never played a game like this before. I will say, of course, there are some things that do feel a little bit lackluster. The fact that there is no bonding with individual characters. It's kind of a traveling game. You're on the road, so don't expect that you're going to, evolve certain areas and learn more about them. The areas kind of mostly exist for window dressing and for you to go find potentially additional quests or very special stuff you can buy. Most of the characters from Persona 5 that were side characters are not coming back in this game. The doctor's office is shut down. School is obviously canceled, so you can't go see the sexy teacher that everybody loves. You get the idea. They're not there anymore. It's most of it's replaced by an AI character that you pick up that becomes your shop mechanic.
Hmm.
Also, just kind of a fun additional character to have. Hey, Goggles, how you doing? So yeah.
One hell of a way to announce yourself there, Goggles.
So yeah, if you're ready for a whole lot of interesting stuff to go on, but if you want to see all of the story and all of the animation that you expect out of Persona 5, a little bit less on the really amazing stylized stuff that you got out of the original Persona 5, but a lot more action going on, this is a cool game. This,
Dope.
yeah, there is no chance this does not make my top 5 this year. Impossible.
Oh wow, already.
Uh,
That's
yeah,
an early call.
yeah. Unless a whole lot of amazing shit comes out, this is just fun in a basket. It's the first time that I've played a Masao game and truly enjoyed myself.
Rad.
All right, but hey, Brian, how have you been doing on that gaming end? I know you've got some things that you put your feet into as well.
I did. So I played two things that are on completely drastic ends of the gaming spectrum over the past few days. Which would you like to hear about first? Outriders, the new Square Enix shooter, or or Project Triangle Strategy?
Well,
Okay,
Because those are the two games
simultaneously.
that I played.
where do you feel best dropping in first?
Um, you know what? Let's go. Let's keep on some interesting wavelengths here. We'll save Project Triangle for second because I think there's more to say about that game than Outriders.
Okay.
So we'll jump into Outriders first. So Outriders is a game that I've actually been a little like fairly interested in since it was announced. It's being developed by People Can Fly, the people that brought us Bulletstorm. Um, and this game feels a lot like Bulletstorm in some ways. It's basically a third person action shooter. Like you have abilities that you can use in the game as well as guns, and it is high sci-fi sort of stuff. And I don't mean high as in like intelligent sci-fi. I mean high as in like it is so fucking sci-fi in even down to its tropes and everything. Basically, the setup is that Earth is done for, and there are two giant ships that leave Earth in search of a new planet. One of those ships doesn't make it, so there's one ship left, the Enoch, or the Epoch, I believe, which is the last vestiges of humanity, and they have traveled 83 years with everyone for the most part in cryostasis to this new planet called Enoch that they believe is habitable. And so you play as a character who belongs to this military force called the Outriders that is there accompanying the expedition to colonize Enoch. You land on Enoch and you realize, oh wait, there's some shit on Enoch we should have studied before we chose Enoch as the new planet, because all these like natural slash supernatural anomalies start happening. People start getting like disintegrated in front of you. People get infected with like black goo, a la Prometheus, and stuff
Okay.
like that. And so, like, basically, you go out on this expedition. That all shit happens. Comes back. The very mustache twirly, evil British accent military man decides that we're not gonna save y'all. We're gonna quarantine and kill everyone that was out on this mission so that none of this bad stuff about Enoch can get out, and we can bring down all the people and colonize it. And of course, you get through all that. This is all the prologue, by the way. You get through all of that, and you end up getting shoved back into cryostasis. And you get woken up 31 years later to find that they went through with colonizing the place, and as soon as they started colonizing it, everything went to shit. And now the whole planet, like the area where they're in, is under perpetual warfare between the people who the people that are viewed as the elites that had this bunker, that were part of your original like landing crew, and all the other people who basically turned on them and started becoming like the fucking metal boys in Mad Max Fury Road. Um, and there's this big vast of space called No Man's Land where all this stuff, all the fighting really happens, and the entire population is contained to this area because of the anomaly on the planet. No one's been able to go past it because the anomaly won't let you. It just basically murders anything that tries to penetrate it. So, in the process of all this, though, since you got hit by the anomaly previous to getting cryostasis, you all of a sudden are what they call an altered in this world. You have somehow, the anomaly has infused your body with these new powers, these elemental powers, which that ties into the classes that you choose from. And because you're altered, all the regular humans like see you as a god because you're all virtually immortal and you can like shoot lightning out of your fucking hands and like blink and all this other shit. And the whole story setup is that you meet up with people that like your friends from 31 years ago who have aged. You haven't. You're back, and now it's like, okay, well now this is time for us to try and like just fucking save everything as best we can and figure out the best way to address this planet and this anomaly, and possibly find out if there's anything that we can do to salvage this whole thing that has devolved into just bullets and stupidness.
Okay. So I'm getting the impression that this is Starship Troopers meets Supernatural meets Deus Ex.
um Somewhat. I won't go so far to say Starship Troopers because it definitely does not have that propaganda feel to it.
I'm just
Um,
thinking the whole hostile planet thing.
yeah, yeah. It definitely has elements of that because like the anomaly corrupts creatures and you fight corrupted creatures and other stuff. Also, I don't know. It's like the actually playing the game feels pretty good. Like I really like it basically feels a lot like how they set up the controller scheme for like Mass Effect 3. And the best part of Mass Effect 3 was playing Vanguard with that thing where you had your powers on your shoulder buttons and all that good stuff. So the combat feels good. It's challenging as well. They have this setup where as you level up, you also level up your world tier, and as your world tier goes up, encounters become more difficult. So it seems to be adjusting difficulty based on how far, like how good you are and how much you have achieved in like leveling up your character. that sort of thing. Um, but also that all being said, the voice acting leaves plenty to be desired. The story is obviously very derivative, and but it does pose some like I don't know some interesting questions about some of the
Hmm.
alignments of some people in this world. Like there's this one altered person named Lord Seth, because that's a name, and
Definitely a name.
and like it's very much set up like the altered people like are almost like Dr. Manhattan in this world. They're very separate from the regular like on the ground conflict, and they have more of a looking to this larger evil on the planet that they want to fight. And it's very much teased that like eventually you're going to get pulled into that fight too, potentially. But for now, it starts you off like basically on the ground, like fighting with the actual like war that's going on. It's the inventory system is very much like Destiny. I think this thing takes a lot of inspiration from Destiny, like a lot of other games
Why
do.
are there so many Destiny clones when Destiny itself has so much trouble funding itself?
Hey, look, I will say this: it's not it's the game itself is not like that. I would say the multiplayer aspect of this, there are matchmaking hubs where you
Hmm.
can like party up. I believe you can party up in groups of 3, maybe 4. But you can party up and tackle missions multiplayer like that. So in that way, the multiplayer is more akin to like an Anthem in a way. Um, Instead of the everything populating into the same area like in Destiny. It's fun, I will say that, but it is very much turn your brain off.
Okay.
Fun. Like there's not much you're gonna get out of this, at least for what I played so far, out of this in terms of like an actual like like a depth of story or anything like that. It feels very much like a B game from the like mid to late 2000s, if that makes any sense. It feels like Syndicate. It feels like whenever I played Syndicate, and I loved playing Syndicate, but Jesus Christ, at Syndicate I have nothing to say.
Kind of miss that feeling of like, instead of the AAA, double A, whatever the hell thing we have now for that little like B game that's kind of amusing. It doesn't have a lot to say, but there's a lot of really neat ideas in it. So,
Yeah, and this does have some neat ideas in it from the gameplay perspective. Granted, a lot of it is stuff that has been done in other games.
mm,
I chose to play their rogue equivalent class, which is very much about speed and getting in close combat and like dodging people and that sort of thing. And sometimes I found myself like fighting against the control scheme a little bit when doing some of that, trying implementing some of my powers. I got my footing under me though, and I kind of got a better grasp of what to do with those certain things. So there's like the tiniest of learning curves in that way, but the other classes seem like they like would be fairly straightforward. Like you have your sniper class, your assault class, your tank class, that sort of thing, and they all have different elemental powers attached to them. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, like I don't know. I'm curious to keep playing it right now. The demo is out there for anybody to download. I think it's on all systems except for the Switch
mm.
right now. So it's up there. You can get a good chunk of game to really fill yourself out. Like I haven't finished the demo yet. So um
That did remind me a little bit about Persona 5 Strikers. There is a good amount of learning curve. The tutorial feels like it goes on for a while, and it kind of does. But that's because literally every button on the pad does something. Every one of them has their own uses, and trying to figure out when to tie those all together is fucking weird as shit. Sorry, I digress.
no, you're fine. You're good. But I think it's a good point to kind of like Outriders, check it out if that interests you. It's a very much a popcorn movie of a game, and I am probably gonna play more of it. Not gonna lie. I don't know if I'm gonna end up buying the full product, but I'm definitely like enjoying like not in like a deep way playing that right now.
Sometimes you just want some popcorn, and that's kind of fun for, 10 to 20 hours at times.
Yeah, exactly. But Project Triangle Strategy, that's a game right there.
Oh, yeah?
That's a capital G game.
You got all that of just the demo that came out?
Yo, if this whole game delivers on what the demo has, this could be a favorite for a
Wow.
while. I've said it multiple times on the show. I am a very big fan of tactical RPGs,
Mhm.
and I kind of got into them post the Final Fantasy Tactics world, so I never really engaged with Final Fantasy Tactics. This feels very much like that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's excuse me. As opposed to Fire Emblem, where it's much more like pulled out, very level playing field. This one you definitely play more with elevation, definitely more about backstabbing and that sort of thing in combat to get attack bonuses and stuff like that. You also get attacks of opportunity at times as well. So it, like I said, the combat system feels very much like that. But where this game itself really kind of sets itself apart is in the story aspect. So the story itself is very much like what you would expect from like JRPG, high fantasy sort of thing.
Mhm.
It is even derivative of Fire Emblem Three Houses in that there are three kingdoms that have been like that are like have a very unsteady peace until it is not an unsteady peace anymore. Um, so it's just I don't know. It's interesting because while the characters some of the characters are very like one note, very mustache twirly, especially the villains. Which, by the way, the main villain of this game has one of the dumbest names ever, and I am here for it all day, every day. His name is Gustadov.
I'm sorry. Did you want to be Ganon but not infringe copyright?
His name is Gustadov. He has silver hair, and he hails from the iron capital of this world, and he wants to kill everything. Um, but yeah, so it has this political intrigue dynamic there. Like there are like houses underneath the kingdoms that are also at odds with how to deal with the conflict that is coming, and that really plays out in the game's persuasion system because unlike other games where there have been multiple games in the past like decade or and a half or so that have really tried to hammer home that point of like your choices matter in this game, but at the same time, like, do they really matter? You know,
Right.
like how does that actually change the world depending on what you do? Like, it's very very minuscule, if anything, really. But this one throws that shit out the window, and if depending on what you choose, like everything drastically changes around you in a way. The demo has like one major choice like this in it, and it centers around whether you are able to convince your war council to either protect this prince of this kingdom that Gustadov has invaded, or turn him over to Gustadov. Um, and you have to like go out into your town and talk to the townspeople to kind of get an idea of like the sense, like everything that's on the minds of the people in the town around this situation, things around the town that might actually help you be able to convince other people to what you're thinking in this instance. And you go around and you try and persuade as many people in your party as you can to vote with you because it's a majority vote, and you don't know necessarily if you're able to if your efforts to persuade them actually worked until after the votes are cast. So it's very much like every time the voting comes down, like it's very much a tense situation in it, and the world drastically changes based off of that. Like if you vote to like not turn over the prince to Gustave, then his fucking army rolls into town, and you are in a big battle, and you are trying to defend your castle and your town against this warring force. Um, and it's a tough fight. Um, or if you give him back, you basically become a puppet state of this new government, and everything changes around that. Like everything changes with how you like how people view you, with how um like what actions you will take going forward, with trying to understand how to better like you know uh address the issue of one kingdom invading another kingdom. Like it's very much, it very much has a promise that it's going to be better at delivering on that your choices change the world around you promise. And if that is the case and it delivers, then this could be a really interesting storytelling device, as well as a very good feeling tactics game. My only complaint so far with the game is that the voice acting is kind of bad, but I don't know if that's just because of the demo, or if it's just, maybe just some kind of expediency in trying to get the demo out or something like that, or if then they're going to be replaced at some point, or they're going to go back and re-record lines of dialogue at some point. But it feels very stilted at times and feels like not as emotionally packed as I think a lot of other aspects of the game do. Um, and also, I don't really care for how many times like they say bend the knee in this stupid game. Like it feels very much like a game of like it feels very much like Game of Thrones, in that way. Like that last season of Game of Thrones where everyone
Oh.
was just talking about bending the knee. Like that phrase comes up so many times, and I've seen other places. Like I know the crew over at Vice Games, like they were talking about the odd use of like Middle English in the game as well to try and like give that flavor, but not really knowing how to use that language per se. So there's definitely some rough edges around it, but for the most part, like I really enjoyed it. That's the game I was playing before we got on stream. I got sucked into it that I didn't even realize it was stream time. So that yes, I'm excited for it. And this I did not ever touch Octopath Traveler, and this is from the same, if I'm not mistaken, it's from the same team that did Octopath Traveler, and it looks very much like Octopath Traveler. So if you like that, you'll probably might be into this as well.
Yeah, I mean, Octopath Traveler wasn't the most amazing game I ever played before, but goddamn is it beautiful.
Yeah.
Alright, very cool. I think that about covers all of our what we've been playing so far this week. I think we
Pretty
all
much.
yeah, we all got to gush a little bit about some of our favorite things. Let's jump into the news though, shall we?
Yeah.
This week, there was a whole lot to talk about, and yet a whole lot not to talk about as far as it came to PlayStation. Starting off, just a little drop by PlayStation, that the next VR system is going to be coming to the PlayStation 5 console. As far as I can tell, it's not anything that is forwards compatible. I can't really tell from this what happens if you currently have the PlayStation VR. Once the PlayStation 5 VR, whatever they choose to call it, happens to launch. Now, it won't be coming soon. They say at least it's not this year. So likely next year, but also could be a 2023 launch date. They haven't really nailed down anything, and with the way that COVID's been going, it could be any date. But they seem to be mostly interested in future-proofing their own technology and make a more immersive VR experience. I just feel bad for the people who already bought into the VRs. It's such a niche thing to drop your money into. And then to hear, in a few years, you're going to get rid of it. Of course, I mean, yeah, it's the same for consoles, but this is, something that is really a niche market that you only get a few major titles for each year that you could probably play without.
I would be very curious to see what the price point is going to be on this
Same.
because yeah, like let's be real. The first generation of VR headsets, like the PlayStation VR was the most cost effective for a lot of people.
Mhm.
It was only $400. If you already, and if you, most people entertaining the idea of buying one already had a PS4 that they could use with it. So like you didn't have to invest in like high-end PCs and stuff like that. But we're in a different age with VR now. The Oculus Quest, or is it Oculus Go? They have so many different names for their models. And with the new like standalone headset that they have out now, they cost right around the same amount that a PlayStation VR did at launch. and you don't need all the wires there. You don't need the high end PC. It's much more cost effective for people to get into that marketplace. So if Sony is gonna run with this, like I know they're promising like the high fidelity visual experience. I wish they would have given some benchmarks that they were trying to hit with when announcing that, but because like really that's gonna be the major selling point for trying to get this box or to get this headset really is because there are other places that are more than likely going to be cheaper that you could go and get your VR fix with.
Oh yeah.
'Cause, like the high fidelity visual experience, and I guess the promise of maybe some PlayStation exclusives with it, would be the major selling points with that. And I just don't know if they hit either of those really strong enough with the first go around.
And
True. Yeah.
that you've also got the fact that PlayStation 4 VR did not have room scaling. It was a
Yeah.
camera-based VR system, so if they want to keep up and stay relevant, they need to bring in room scaling. Like the HTC Vive from day one has been room scale, you know? And yeah, the Vive's newest model, the absolute top end, yes, runs 2000 Canadian.
Mm.
Mm. And see, that's
But
what worries me about. Sorry, I'm gonna cut you off.
oh, it's okay.
Well, that's one of the things that worries me about this is because it doesn't seem like they are looking towards room scale right now. Like all the talk about, the VR controller incorporating parts of the DualSense controller into it, like they're very much leaning into like this is still a controller based thing.
Mm.
So that leads me to believe that it's still going to be mainly a camera based thing.
Yeah, and I mean, at that point, you're essentially looking at a Nintendo Wii with upscaled graphics that is strapped to your face.
I mean, I don't mind that, especially if it comes at a lower price point. Like I looked it up. The PSVR is still selling well over $300 for the kit. Primarily, like you get an Iron Man bundle, which is nice, but still, I can't say that really sounds like something that's worth it. But say if they could keep an upres on that, but keep that $300 price point in check, you might have something there.
Possibly. I mean, okay. I'm looking at it at from my own point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a computer that could actually handle VR.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that expensive of a computer.
Mm-hmm.
Picking up an older model HTC Vive or grabbing the Valve Index means I'm going to spend maybe an additional $300, $400,
Right.
right? Like I'm talking first generation HTC Vive. There are infinitely more games available for PC.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem is it's very easy to drop it and become a VR developer on the PC, and you don't have to own in to that at that point. It's not, I've bought into this specific thing. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck with the VR on your PC. There's still a lot of very good, very solid VR games that are worth the price of admission itself, and then there's a lot of fun little diversion games that also can be in there. And I don't think PlayStation VR really had anything huge to sell it on. I think Tetris Effect you can now play VR mode on PC. Uh, Beat Saber obviously came from PC. I don't think the Resident Evil 7 VR went to PC, so that and I guess the Iron Man game and the Astrobot Rescue Mission seem about it to me. So it feels a little thin to already be announcing, uh, a PS5 VR.
And then the fact that, you know, Bethesda's been bought out by Microsoft, which means Elder Scrolls 6 certainly won't have a VR available on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
because they're talking about making Elder Scrolls 6 a Xbox exclusive, which means it'll be on PC.
Yeah.
So it just yeah, I don't know. PlayStation has a long way to go to actually legitimately compete in the VR sphere.
Mhm.
Um and with how expensive the PS5 is up here, like I think I costed it out, it's going to cost me about $795 for the console alone.
Ugh.
Never mind games, which are priced at $90 Canadian, even the digital releases, and then
Woof.
assume another 5 or 600 more for PS5 VR. Like that's the cost of a decent gaming PC.
Yeah, you've added up essentially a pretty decent PC rig and also a VR headset on your lower end, certainly, but still, a VR headset that could run most of the games. And then you still have the money left over for a Beat Saber or Accounting Plus.
Yeah. And I mean, basically, if it is going to cost me over a month's rent to step into this, and I'm talking a month's rent plus all of my other bills on top of it,
Mhm.
no, especially when it's a subpar VR experience.
Mhm. But of course, that wasn't all. Very shortly after, they announced the upcoming State of Play, which we hadn't had one in for a while. We're going to go through this kind of quickly on this one because I'm going to be honest with you, not worth going into huge details because they didn't either.
But we got graphics in the PlayStation 5 now.
Yeah, we can show off the graphics for that PlayStation 5 with that Crash Bandicoot 4. It's already out, but you can get it at a higher res for the PlayStation 5.
Hooray.
Um, let's see, Returnal? Sure.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm not gonna take too long here, but Returnal, I'm glad that we finally got a chance to look at what Housemarque wants to do in a 3D realm. Because holy shit, as soon as that went into combat, that was a Housemarque fucking game. They are making and it's a fucking roguelike. I am into this.
Yeah, I mean, the graphics definitely look really interesting because this is your real sci-fi horror that I don't think we've seen a lot in the gaming space, and definitely it's good to see a lot more of coming up. But I mean, is it coming out soon? I don't remember when the
Yeah, it comes out in April.
comes out in April. Okay, I do want to see what the pre-release reviews will look like for it when it comes up a lot closer, but yeah, the visuals for it definitely are going to be considerably worth it. So this is it's a thing that we'll definitely want to come back to and look at when it's closer to its release. I know it's not far out, but in the sphere of gaming, we probably want to hit this like a week before it comes out to talk about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's really cool looking. I just want to know if the loop is really fulfilling beyond a really kick-ass aesthetic.
Same. Like I said, I saw that kick in a combat and I was immediately in. It doesn't mean I'm immediately sold though,
Yeah,
because it's gotta feel good. Especially if you're gonna make a roguelike, it's gotta feel good.
yeah, and I don't think you really see a whole lot of roguelike shooters. It's difficult to pull off for sure because a lot of it is definitely your corridors and your closets and your spacing and all of that good stuff. So
Yeah, I think Enter the Gungeon was really the only one that really pulled it off well.
yeah, I mean, you had your Enter the Gungeon, your Nuclear Thrones, but those are more.
Mm.
I was thinking of you've got a few actually. Like Binding of Isaac technically count as a 2D shooter as well, since you're shooting your ears, but not in the standard 3D space like we see with a lot of more modern shooters.
Yeah, yeah.
We got Knockout City. Actually, it doesn't look all that bad, but we've seen it before a bit. Sifu.
This looked like it could be fun.
Yeah, I guess, Absolver makes some decent games. It could be cool, but it's another one of those. Okay, the graphics look pretty neat, uh,
Mhm.
but you're still not telling me a whole lot about how the game feel really is. It just, hey, this is a cool looking world.
Well, if I had to guess, knowing like playing Absolver, they really tried to do a lot of interesting things with hand-to-hand combat as a focus,
Hmm.
and so it seems like they're just kind of taking that and moving it into a different realm with martial arts as opposed to like the more of the sword and shield along with some martial arts that was in Absolver.
Hmm. Fair cop. We also had another look at Solar Ash, very promising looking game. I mean, it's the same studio that made Hyper Light Drifter, so certainly it is very nice looking. And Hyper Light Drifter was a great game. I have to imagine that this will be worth the cost of entry. But it also, again, it's not something we haven't already seen at this point, just seeing it with the graphics.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's Sanctuary Breach.
Damn it.
At least they gave you a Five Nights at Freddy's game where you can move around now.
True, and I don't I don't have any hate for Scott Kaufman, Make that money off the Gen Z. Fucking get banked, son. He seems like a wonderful man with you know, uh, a really good insight in putting out that bait, right? He is very good about dropping that hook that you don't see coming to get you interested. So cool.
I mean, I'm good on him. I have no ill will toward him at all. Like
Mm.
I admire him for being able to turn this into the fucking capitalist giant that it is. I just never I thought that the Five Nights at Freddy's games were good games
The
as
last
games.
one was actually decent, but the original Five Nights at Freddy's, yeah, no, it was definitely YouTube bait. It was
Yeah.
catch the streamer being really scared.
Yeah. I mean, there've been a lot of like they have an official VR title, but
Mm,
then somebody has also adapted all of the originals into VR as well.
mm.
And I will fully admit, they are fucking hilarious to watch. Will I ever play them? No. I watched Peter almost die playing Five Nights. But yeah, he has turned this into a literal empire.
Yeah, and this one
And
does really look like it might be worth giving a look at rather than the other Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, the last one definitely had real honest to God gameplay, so this might be something interesting, but again, it do seem too soon to really say. It is, of course, a teaser trailer, not a gameplay trailer. More Oddworld. I don't never mind giving me more Oddworld visuals. I love everything about the look and dynamic of every Oddworld game ever. I never play any Oddworld games, but I will watch the fuck out of the Oddworld games because they are just so wonderfully weird.
No, like I mean, yeah, Oddworld Soulstorm looks interesting. The real news coming out of this though is that it's going to be part of PlayStation Plus whenever it's released in April on
Nice.
PS5. So PS5 owners, if you PlayStation Plus members, you get that for free. And also the fact that he described the game's look as 2.95D. That was just a thing that made me chuckle.
I love those weird boys. It is
Shout out Lord Landing.
the best game series that I will probably never play. Uh, Kina looks nice. It's very adorable.
I mean, it looks like a comparable like action RPG.
Yeah. Deathloop? I mean, hell yeah, but we understand Deathloop. I think anyone that is hearing anything about Deathloop wants that release date.
And we got it, May 21st.
Oh, really?
May 21st.
All right. Okay. Down for that.
Yes.
Uh,
May 21st is coming out, and I really liked that was the trailer they put out there. Like, we've already shown you this game so many times. Here's just a James Bond-esque trailer with a Bond theme behind it.
Here's us fucking around, making you realize how cool this fucking game is gonna look. Yeah, I'm already sold on Deathloop. There's not a question on it. I'm going to try this game. If it'll be a game of the year or not, I don't know, but I at least know that it will be pretty doing so.
Agreed.
But of course, the meat and potatoes was Final Fantasy VII. The remake is getting shinier graphics for the PlayStation 5, sure. And anyone with the PlayStation 4 copy can upgrade your copy to the PlayStation 5 copy. But they're also putting out a new chapter that primarily stars Yuffie. Seems to be more, she is more the antagonist. Whether this is, it does seem to take place in the same time period that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1, I guess we'll call it at this point, came out. So if this evolves the story beyond the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's hard to tell at this point. If this is how every expansion will come out to the story as additional chapters to buy integrated into the existing game. We don't have those details yet. We just know that, hey, this is a much prettier version of the game you already have with some new shit that you can purchase to play, and we have upgraded a few of the things from the original game to be a bit more dynamic and interesting for you.
Yeah, as I understand it, the UV stuff is basically like a side story within part 1.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is like exactly. I'm sure that they're gonna, like, it'll be a full-fledged game whenever they do put out the next part of it. But like, this is it's a fun little like DLC edition. Like, it's good. Um, I also just love the fact that we got a title card that just had graphics on PlayStation 5 as a braggadocious thing on it. That was really good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're gonna keep supporting this and keep putting out the expansions, it makes sense to make a push onto the PS5 in that way, especially with the graphical upgrades. Like, all all the lighting effects and everything looks really good. I'm glad they put a photo mode in there
Hell yeah.
because that's something a lot of people were clamoring about. But yeah, like, all in all, like, I'm glad that they're continuing to support it, and I think, like, the fact that they are putting out this extra chapter and allowing people to kind of get the PS5 version for free if you already bought the PS4 version. I think that lends credence to that they are going to continue seeing this through to the additional parts. So
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see how if Yuffie kind of stands up to how dynamic the gameplay of since Cloud was kind of your main guy. There was a lot of dynamic play in the way that he functioned, as well as with the other characters. So I'm wondering if this will all be Yuffie with her characters aside, or if there's anything that's going to cross over between parts that bring us more together on what happens, and maybe bring in the other characters at some point. It's going to be real interesting to see at the very least. It is well known that I fucking loved the remake, and yeah, give me more, put it in the plate, give me more.
I think you did get some clues from the presentation, though, because like they showed UV like kind of like on the outskirts of different moments in the proper game, and just being like, oh, what's going on over there? Well, I mean, we should avoid that. That looks like a bad scene, and then going off on a different thing. So I'm sure eventually there's gonna be some crossover in that chapter a little bit, maybe. maybe not full on interaction, but definitely like you get to see like little cute little snippets of stuff and be like, oh well, I guess this is going on to the side of it. And it also should be noted that separate from this, like they announced later on, Sony did that this month's March's PlayStation Plus games for PS4, Final Fantasy VII Remake is one of those games.
Mm.
So you can get Final Fantasy VII Remake for free in March if you're a PlayStation Plus member,
Mhm.
but you can't upgrade that version to the PS5 version for free
It's not
because you
really a major loss, to be honest.
yeah, I know. It's just like there's some very like odd messaging around some of that stuff. So I just wanted to clarify for anybody that was like going to download that.
Yeah, that do be kind of weird, though, right? Like, okay, yeah, you can get that upgraded version, but not the PlayStation Plus version. But hey, if you bought it yourself, or somebody else bought it for you, obviously, you have that physical disc, or you got that download that you purchased from the PlayStation 4, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, they weren't done. Everyone grab your phones, because it's time for more mobile games from Square Enix. Man, these teams must do great overseas, because I have never heard anyone other than some of the the set and forget it styled Final Fantasy things to play really get any love. But similar to that Final Fantasy 15 mobile, Final Fantasy 7 is getting, well, actually two different mobile games. The first and more audacious to me is the first Soldier, which takes place prior to everything in Final Fantasy VII, and is a battle royale game.
You can't see me on camera right now, but I'm fucking bouncing. I'm fucking bouncing for this. Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale. What the fuck is up? You want summons? We got it. You want like fucking assault rifles? We got it. You want fucking magicka? We got it.
Okay, I have found the audience. It is Brian.
It's on your phone. Cram it all in there. Get some summons going in your Battle Royale game. It's like Spellbreak, but with Fortnite and Apex all mixed in, and also on your phone. It's weird. I don't know. I honestly, I am. This is not for show. I am legitimately, at least somewhat excited about this, just because of how
The audacity of
odd
it.
it is. Yes, just the oddity that this thing represents. Like I want this. I want to know the release date for this. I do not play games on my phone that much. I need this on my phone now.
And it's really nice looking for a mobile game. I'd wonder if you need like an upscale phone in order to get those sort of graphics, or if you can lower that down for, the more modestly priced phones out there.
Well, I guess it just all depends on what version of Android and iOS you're running
True.
in a lot of ways.
The other is basically a pocket-sized Final Fantasy VII remake, but a new remake, but basically covers all of the story from the original series, I guess, including Crisis Core and all of that, in chibi mobile version, and you can do a full story through your phone. So, Final Fantasy VII remake?
Yeah, I mean it's just a little pocket Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, I don't mind this idea. This is especially a good way, if you want to get people the real gist of what happened in Final Fantasy VII before it was remade, or, get the idea of what happened in Crisis Core, and Advent Children and all of that fun stuff. It's there for you.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Lite.
Basically, yeah, you get all these little chibi characters, and your dialogue gets presented by some of, like, it all looks like the remake art, but flat and less detailed.
Oh, it's the diet version.
Yeah. But it's the whole story rather than just being the parts that the remake goes through, so. Yeah.
Well, I'm not so for sure because it said episodic in the trailer, so
Oh,
and that's
really?
really the only information. It said episodic, so I don't know if they're releasing the entire game in one fell swoop.
Okay. Interesting. Oh, hey, and it's a little bitty Zack.
What does that mean that Dirge of Cerberus is in this?
Yes.
Dope.
So
I've been meaning to go back and play that game.
this might be good for somebody who's kind of a Final Fantasy noob and is a little overwhelmed by the sheer reach of the story, and it kind of puts it into a good condensed digestible chunk.
Yeah, of like everything, I'm not too terribly offended by it, honestly. This seems like something fun to download to your phone and just, get a couple hours, download this before a plane trip or something and have yourself a time while you're out. It's
Unless it
cute.
requires an internet connection to play.
Please don't.
Y'all can go play chibi Final Fantasy VII all you want. I'm gonna be busy becoming the first soldier. I am first soldier.
I mean, considering that the first the soldier that you know first at least is Zack, which I'm still amazed, like with the cast of characters of Cloud, Aerith, Barrett. You have some really original names in there. And then Zack, the hero of Midgard, Zack. I'm going off on a line a little bit too much. While we're in this PlayStation sphere, though, at least one of their departments supposedly is being closed down. The majority of the development staff from Sony Japan Studio has been let go. It seems like they are going to fold this development team. Let's see. Actually, there's an update here. They will be absorbed in the team ASOBI. Okay, so that all makes sense. They're going to be working on Playroom and whatnot. But I mean, you definitely have lost some very interesting ideas. They tended to come up with the strange things, like it says here, Ape Skate, Gravity Rush, and Knack. But they haven't really had, a success in some time. They definitely thrived more when you could have that B market sort of thing. But I guess they just weren't pulling the numbers Sony wanted.
Well, I mean, the Japan studio hadn't really like put out its own thing in a while.
Really.
It been mainly been working on a lot of other stuff that's being worked on by the more North America and Europe based studios. Which I mean, a lot of Sony's PlayStation business has really shifted to North America and Europe, so it
Mhm.
makes total sense. And if there was one team within the Japan studio purview that was going to survive, it would be Sobi, just because the all the Astros Playroom stuff was really well received, and those are games that work really closely with the working on new hardware and introducing new hardware. I wouldn't be surprised if they're working on something for that new model of the PlayStation VR right
Mm.
now. Yeah, it makes sense. And like, not everybody in the studio is going to be making that transition. I know there's some people that have already left the Japan studio. So it sucks though, because like Japan studio put out a lot of interesting and fun games over the course of its lifespan. There, back to the PlayStation 1 and 2 era. You know, it's like without them, we don't get Parappa the Rapper, we don't get Ape Escape.
Yeah, they're the ones that put out those quirky and weird things that just stopped being less in demand. So yeah, they I guess kind of faded more with the fizzle. This isn't something that really you look at and go, "Oh man, they were producing such amazing things very recently. What a horrible waste." It's, "Oh, they were still actually there?"
Yeah, it very much felt like the writing on the wall thing, and it was an inevitability, and it's still unfortunate though.
Oh,
So
absolutely. It's always unfortunate when somebody
oh yeah,
loses their job, especially with so many of these people being let go. But I mean, there is, room for a lot of these people in Team Asobi since they're definitely expanding that division. So cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna wander now a little bit into the world of the slow fizzle, though, because we put one foot into it. Let's just jump right in. Coming out from Paradox, they have pulled development from the Mask Vampire, the Mask of the Vampire, the Masquerade, Bloodlines 2. That is a hell of a fucking
Yep.
title.
Yeah, it is.
There had been a lot of really, weird developments that had come around this game so far. The art style is definitely gorgeous, but a lot of the content made people very nervous, to say the least. So I don't think it's a big like it is a surprise. Don't get me wrong. But it also kind of makes sense that they have decided to, at the very least, delay it, but with no real scope of when that delay is going to happen. This is a game that had already been delayed uh, previously, and yeah, I mean, I kind of do hope that this is the sort of game that does eventually come out. I think there's a lot of neat ideas here, but maybe tone down some of the much weirder and less savory parts of this.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if it's necessarily a content thing per se. Like, it really seems like this game has had a really tumultuous development cycle over the past year.
Mhm.
It was announced at the PC gaming show a couple years back at E3 to much fanfare. And then like in 2020 they had, you know, Chris Avallone being let go from the project, and any content that he had designed for the game was going to be removed, because of the sexual assault allegations that were levied against him.
Mhm.
And then like I think like a month later they announced the delay, and then not very long after that they like Paradox fired the creative director and the lead narrative designer, and then they fired, and then another lead head I think it was senior narrative designer, yeah, Kara Ellison, left the project a few months after that. So
I forgot how many people actually left this project, and whether of their volition or because they're bad people.
yeah, like it's just that they've lost a lot of leadership with this game, and I think that might have dovetailed into maybe some um you know m- misled development stuff going on, and obviously like Paradox just is not happy with where the game is in the hands of Heartsuit Labs. They said that they have another developer that they're going to give the game to continue developing on it, but who really knows the state of what they're getting
Mhm.
right now? Because like if you're removing everything that Chris Avallone put in there, which first off, let me just say, rightfully so that you're doing that.
Mhm.
The allegations against him are horrendous, and you do not want his work associated with this game.
Mhm.
Um, but that leaves a whole lot of holes to fill.
Yeah, that's a lot to gut from a game from, years worth of creative design.
Yeah, so this game could end up being a completely restarted development cycle.
I feel for the people working on this team right now. No, we don't really know how things are moving around because of this. It does sound like this is a game that has not been shelved as of yet. But for you to work for years on a project and then find out we're starting over in so many aspects of this now. That's gotta really be a blow to the gut at that point. Like all those years you put in are maybe there, but mostly gone by having a new development team take what you have and finish it.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And honestly, that might be the best segue ever for our next story.
Yeah, talk about, blown dreams and all of that. A lot of people had been really stoked for the idea of the Anthem 2.0 release, especially within the company, as there was a lot of people that really believed in this game. But BioWare has announced now that there will not be a Anthem 2.0.
Yeah, basically, we had the news last week from Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg that EA was meeting with BioWare to determine the fate of the game, and that fate has been sealed now. Development is ceasing on Anthem Next or Anthem 2.0, however you want to put it. They are going to continue. They're going to keep the servers up for regular Anthem. They're
Mhm.
just not. They're not doing any further development on that game though. So it's just going to exist as is for anybody that wants to engage with it. And I think they're moving a lot of the both the people power as well as some of the resources and assets from that Anthem 2.0 development time into the work that they're doing for Dragon Age 4.
Mhm.
So yeah, Anthem Next is dead. Long live Anthem Next.
Good.
So I I foresee a lot of very, very angry people
Hmm.
because they shelled out for a game that clearly wasn't finished and did not live up to the promises, got placated by the fact of, oh no, we're fixing it. And now, when it's years later, way too late to get a refund,
Hmm.
sorry, you're SOL.
Yeah, I mean, in my end, when I think about it, it's a matter of okay, I played this game, I didn't get it out of it what I wanted to. By several years ago, myself, I would have forgotten about the whole, or not forgotten about it, but I would have kind of lost interest in anything other than, yeah, if you want to bring this back, that's kind of cool. I'll definitely be here for it. But, if from what I understand, this game really didn't bring out a lot of interest in a lot of people. So it is a sad one to hear, though, because from the understanding, there was a lot of potential here. And how much of this was really Activision's decision or anyway, which as much as a parent company decision at this point, it's hard to say. My brain has decided to drop upon the floor today. But yeah.
No, I mean like it definitely. I'm sure that this is more of an EA decision than a
Yeah.
BioWare decision. This is all speculation, of course, but it really seemed like seeing the pain and the emotion in Christian's blog about the announcement that Anthem Next was ceasing development, it really seemed like they wanted the chance to rectify that.
Mm.
And it really sucks that the people that put in so much time and effort on that game in such a chaotic development cycle that Anthem endured, it really sucks to see that they're not going to get a chance to maybe right some wrongs. And I know that I am like the biggest harper on like not every game can be Rainbow Six Siege, not every game can have a very like faulty start and then correct itself 6 months down the line and become something great. It should, but also like if you're able to do that, then like you should have the power to do that. I feel in a lot of ways, and it sucks that they're not going to get that shot as
Fair.
opposed to like the Final Fantasy 14s and the No Man's Skies of the world.
um. So while I kind of moved this around, but while we're kind of in that area, of decisions Electronic Arts has made, there is one more from EA, but I kind of want to drop this in first since we kind of mentioned Dragon Age. That Dragon Age, from what we are to understand, at least according to our good boy Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg, that a lot of the basically all of the multiplayer stuff has been dropped from the design aspect of the heavy multiplayer to make a single player only linear, well, non-linear story. Basically, you don't have to worry about what your online portion is going to be, whether or not you have the PS Connect or really get everything out of it and all of that, and oh well, I have to play with other people. How is that going to work? Rada rada. I think a lot of companies are starting to see the pain of doing a lot of heavy multiplayer stuff, and it's tends to come in as a pass or fail. There tends to not be an in between. So I think this is going to be a set of good news for people looking for BioWare to get back to its BioWariness.
No, and I think that this decision, you can definitely make a direct correlation from the outside looking in to that Anthem decision with this. Like, because Dragon Age 4 was going to be a service game. It was going to be like that Anthem style of thing, and then they saw what Anthem did,
Mhm.
and like it makes. And I think that this is the logical step for them to take coming out of that. If you're not going to work on Anthem next, if you're not going to try and like correct that, you don't need to be jumping back into that pool
Mhm.
immediately. So
Yeah, this seems like a kind of focus on our fundamentals. BioWare's name has kind of gone through the mud as of recent years. So, giving them the chance to show everyone, like, hey, we still know what a fundamentally BioWare game is, and we're going to deliver that to you, is going to be necessary to get back into public favor again. Get that momentum going one more time. The last bit of EA making changes at this point, delays for the new Need for Speed after picking up Codemaster here. So, Criterion. Anyway, yeah, after the Codemaster acquisition, uh, there was look into making a new Need for Speed, but instead, we have moved everything over to Battlefield 6. They will apparently look back into racing games like whether that's Need for Speed or what else at a later time, but it's been decided that more work has been needed right now on that Battlefield 6 project.
I mean, cool.
I guess. Like,
I
obviously, it's a
wanted,
bigger game.
yeah, but I wanted more pretty cars that go fast and go vroom.
Yeah, especially like the arcade style racing. I have missed that for years. Getting the realistic stuff that you get out of a lot of the larger titles that are taking place in the racing right now. I want arcade style driving.
Yeah,
So
you
like
should have played Onrush.
Here.
arcade style racing, like I think arcade style racing, and the first thing I think is like Cruisin' USA.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean stuff along those lines, but when you talk about that, it's more like make big point thing go boom, driving with exaggerated drift mechanics. Your Burnout series, obviously your Need for Speeds, things along those lines that do not take exact one to one. Here is how racing takes place in real life. Here's how it do in our game. We studied racing and have gotten it down to a T. I don't want that. I'm not interested in that whatsoever. I want a game that go vroom and go vroom in weird way.
So
Slacker
no
Kite
grand
noted. Oh, damn it. I think you're about to make the same joke I was. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say no Gran Turismo, no Forza.
Damn it.
I don't mind those games. They have their place. Not what I really want. I want go fast, turn corner, do weird drifty.
Mm.
Burnout Takedown was still one of the best.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, Burnout Paradise was still a really great game, and I'd love to see another take on the Burnout Paradise formula, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Or Need for Speed Underground. Bring that one back.
Also true, but hey, we've stepped out now from the looming mass of EA to bring you to another looming mass. It is time to bring back the 7th inning stretch. Blazeball has returned. Blood in sports on the field. You all leave it there every minute because baseball doesn't stop except to siesta.
Yes, and we just came out of a very long siesta.
Gosh,
The
what was that?
longest
5
sleep.
months?
Close to it, but a very they clearly spent that 5 months building out something that is um much more fleshed out than the original Blaseball was,
Mhm.
I would say. So yes, Blaseball is back. The season 12 is underway now. As of, well, we'll get the standings there in a second, but it's come back with a lot of quality of life updates and some other stuff there, as well as some new mechanics here and there. Like they've added some different snacks to the shop, that some of them are tied to previous things, previous modifiers for betting and stuff like that that were already in the game. But there are some that are new, like, and you're also limited to how many you can have at once, so you can't just have all of them, which I found out the hard way
Same.
earlier. But they did introduce something called the tarot spread, which is a very interesting thing that I have not fully figured out yet.
I don't think anyone
Um,
has yet.
yeah. Basically, you get a seasonal reading ahead of things happening there. The election stuff is pretty interesting. The decrees and the wills and the blessings are pretty interesting. I especially enjoy Title Belt for obvious reasons. Um, but overall, like it's just revamped. It's back out there, and it looks really good. It's
Mm.
just like I think the real story here is just the excitement around its return. We all, before we got on the show, like, had comments about it, and we've talked about it already, and I'm just glad to see it back. Even if my Miami Dale are not doing that hot right now.
No, but Maryland's moist talkers are fucking killing it out there.
Rough.
Yeah, just seeing them with that 10-1 current record is phenomenal. I know, like, my team, the Wings, we all came into this like, okay, let's do a speed run. And then our team just kept winning, and we just kind of tilted our head like, okay, you wanted to do the championship season again? We're good to play that way too, buddies. We just wish you'd given us a little heads up there, Burke. Also, my favorite thing to see out of the Discord was the utter confusion when all of the people playing characters had to realize that their characters have been asleep for 10 years now.
Yes, that is the lore stuff so far has been really fun.
Yeah, I do also appreciate first the page is a lot smoother now. There's a little bit of jank in there in places, but it is so much better. There's actual glossaries for what every term means, but still with that amount of ambiguity, like home team, the team that bats towards the bottom of each inning. Okay, not so interesting that one, but still, you get sometimes a glossary bit that tells you a whole lot of interesting things going on. There's also the current event section has been fleshed out a little bit. There's a lot more that you can really poke your head into if you want to. Yeah, the inventory is real special because you can drop in and do those wills, which can completely change the way the game is played. For instance, you can choose at the end of the season to buy tickets for your team just deciding to gank somebody off of the leaderboards. Might have dropped a few tickets on getting Jessica telephoned into the Wings.
Of course.
But it's super cool. I really enjoy these changes. And it's really nice to just have baseball back again and have something to get excited about, be in the middle of the workday and then like, oh yeah, I can check in on how baseball's doing and check the stats, and you can even do a filter now to see what sort of plays your team's made, your wins and losses. You get like a little feed for each player and each team. It's nice. I couldn't be happier with the update.
Yeah, honestly, like, I really like the fact that they have a schedule up now. So they time out and let you know whenever the siestas are happening mid-season, and they also like give you time spans of whenever like postseason games are starting and stuff like that. So like it's just really good quality of life stuff.
I'm also kind of glad that they're giving their admins a little bit of a break. There will be siestas for a little bit throughout this season for needed tweaking and whatnot, and after so many seasons, there will be 3 on and 2 off. So you get your 3 weeks of baseball, take a little break, and then you come back and give them time to really recuperate, as well as I'm sure the game band is looking to also work on other new projects beyond just baseball.
Yeah, and they also the official Baseball Twitter account has been, and the Game Band's Twitter account as well. Actually, I think it's more the Game Band's Twitter account. They've been tweeting out resources today for people that are new to baseball or want to get into baseball and had that intimidation of all of the lore and all of the role play stuff and the community stuff that goes around it. They've been tweeting out a lot of resources to get people caught up and to really kind of give people a basic understanding of what baseball is and what all it entails. So they've been very accommodating to try and bring new players into it as well, which is really awesome to see. And honestly, what I would expect of that team.
Oh yeah, they are definitely dedicated to working with their community for sure, and you don't see that a whole lot in game dev to player. That sort of closeness to the players themselves is definitely a refreshing take to see so much transparency and such an air of really caring what the fans have to say, especially dragging in all of the little ideas that they have and making some official game canon.
For sure. Yeah. So I guess we should wrap it up with a little roundup of the standings real quick.
Yeah, drop it.
All right, so standings are, as of right now, division leaders, the Mexico City Wild Wings, leading the Wild High, the Hellmouth Sunbeams, which host my idol Han Fox all day, every day, leading the Wild Low. The Mild High is being headed up by the Philly Pies at the moment, and of course, the Mild Low, the Canada Moist Talkers, running away with it so far. A 4-game division lead so far, early in the season.
Yeah, that is crazy. There is not another team even approaching the record that the Moist Talkers presently have. Yeah,
Fear the Canadians, and we will apologize deeply as we grind you all into pace.
Oh, all right.
Hey, this is the best I've ever seen them do. Let me have this.
No,
Yeah.
no, go for it.
I mean, it's
And,
definitely exciting.
I just went hunting for Blaseball merch,
Mm.
and I discovered that they have Canada Moist Talkers sneakers.
Oh yeah.
Oh heck yeah. There's
And
God.
I'm in love. I'm in love.
I do. There is one thing that's coming out soon. The Tlops cards is really
Yes.
interesting. I can't wait for those to come out. Actual baseball seasonal cards will be really interesting.
Yeah, and I've been, now that you mentioned it, I've been going back now to the Baseball Cares store and looking at some of the new Dale stuff they have up too. There's a whole bunch of new stuff up for every team right now. Although I am bummed that there are no booty shorts with the Miami Dales logo on them, a la every other fucking team in this league.
You would think that LA would have booty shorts, considering that team.
You would think, but at least we still have the best jerseys.
I'm most excited for this boy myself. I got it coming in a few days. The spicy carbonated milk mug. It is the worst in joke for the Wild Wings, and I adore it, and I can't wait to have this mug. Only tea is going in there. Well, shall we return to our last few stories that sadly will not get the time that they probably deserve, but we want to hit into them real quick. We of course have the continuing saga of GameStop. Interestingly to us, Rebecca Valentine, somebody we've followed the careers of presently from GameIndustry.biz, put out a whole article about how the investors inside of GameStop have been shaking things up well prior to all of the going down. Oh boy, those are some wins outside. Hestia Capital Partners had been trying hard to shake up the infrastructure at GameStop, with GameStop really pushing back and trying to do it their way first. And several CEOs had been put into place. I wonder if Reggie Fils-Aimé is one of them that came in because of the request of Hestia, but still, it wasn't enough for them, and it sounded like they were demanding more. And super recently, the CFO of GameStop, well, super recently, but like, you know, anyway, and we this information came directly from GameStop. Global Newswire reporting that Jim Bell, the CFO of GameStop, is being let go at this point. Of course, since GameStop themselves is letting him go directly, that is a $2.8 million payout to Jim Bell for quitting a job. So there's kind of the saga that's been going on over the last week. Through
God.
what Hestia wants. Can you imagine getting $2.8 million to quit a job?
I mean, capitalism.
Yeah, shit's gross.
I don't know. I need to delve more into some of this stuff because I haven't had a chance to really look into a ton of this lately. But yeah, there's a lot here that we're not gonna be able to touch on today. But maybe we can circle back around to it at some point because it looks like there's gonna be more stuff in the news at some point.
Yeah, just last week GameStop stock did a GameStop stock again and started coming back on February the 27th. And currently it is still pretty high, at least double what it previously was. If you look up that 5-day forecast, it had settled eventually at around $45, fairly modest, but after the CFO quit, it very quickly did a rocket again, and it stayed in that 100 some odd dollar stock price since then. How much of that is people that actually believe in GameStop, especially after the shakeup that has taken place, or people in for the meme? Hard to tell.
Yeah, this is gonna another thing we'll have to wait and see how time plays it out.
Yeah, this is definitely one we'll have to follow up on next week because I have to imagine more moving and shaking will be doing what going on at GameStop. And if Hestia has any say in it, there will be major changes. Shout out to Coop, who has said every time I say the word Hestia, since she is not in Hades and he is her biggest fan. Anyway, the Sinking City. God, this one is so bizarre.
Yeah, and this is one that's really unfolded today. And I don't know if we're really going to get anything else additional in the immediate future with this. So basically, Frogwares, the developers of the Sinking City, if you were aware when the game came out, originally it released on like a bunch of different consoles and Steam, but eventually it was taken down because Frogwares and their publisher Nikon um, were in a contract dispute. Frogwares basically alleged that Nacon owed them um, somewhere in roughly around 1 million euros as part of their contract, and they had yet seen that money, so they were claiming contract breaches. And all of this kind of resulted in the Seeking City getting pulled from a lot of storefronts. Lo and behold, I want to say like sometime in February, the Seeking City reappeared on Steam,
Mhm.
and this was news to Frogwares because they did not put it up there. And whenever they realized that it was up there, they tweeted publicly telling fans of the game to not buy it through Steam. And they promised that they would explain why. And today they did. Um, they put out a blog post actually.
Hmm.
They put out a blog post basically alleging that Nacon bought a copy of the game and then hacked their way into it to try and alter it so that they could put it up on the storefront in Steam. So the Steam version of the game, according to Frogwares, is a hacked version of the game that is available on another storefront called Games Planet.
Cool.
Yeah, and they released a video as well as a blog post detailing all of the different differences between the two versions of the game, and offering their proof that Nacon um, basically hacked their game. Like they didn't change they didn't change the encryption key on their Unreal Games account or the
The
Unreal Games
following
engine
video post
stuff on it. So like they literally bought the game on Steam and could just log into the engine because they didn't change the encryption key on it. There were like differences in like difference in graphics where like you had the Games Planet logo removed from the loading screen. You had different options from the main menu screen removed that were in the original game. Um, you had and probably the most interesting thing coming out of this was that they were able. This is all according to Frogwares. They were able to look at who uploaded the game to Steam, and they traced that back to a developer for a studio that Nacon bought in October, who they allege would have the know-how to be able to hack and do these changes to get this game up.
Hmm.
So, and Nacon responded on the Steam community page for the game, basically saying like, that they didn't do anything wrong, that they basically were that they had negotiated a contract with Frogwares before the game came out, and then after the game came out, Frogwares wanted to renegotiate that contract, and there have been issues there. So it's obviously it's two sides of a different thing. Nacon didn't really offer much to rebut the video and evidence and stuff that was there. They were very cantankerous with their response. I'll just say this real quick, so because we need to move on to our final story. But this is how they ended their statement on Steam. It's easy to play the victim, but all we seek is that Frogwares respect its commitments both in the contract and as demanded by the courts. So more than likely, this is going to go to court.
Yeah, like Nacom very much believes that they own this game, so they should be making the money since they produced it, and so much of their back end went into making this game. But there is no way that this will not end up in legal. I strongly recommend, if you are interested, look up the How Nacom Cracked and Pirated the Sinking City from the Frogwares channel. It's so bizarre. It is the oddest thing I think I've seen out of a contract dispute in games so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
And to make it a little bit more interesting, even, the version that Nacon has posted to Steam, people who have purchased it are reporting that this is an old version of the game.
Mhm.
It has no DLC, no cloud saves, no achievements.
Yes, that was noted in the video that the achievements were not were stripped out in this new version. They also said that the version of the game that they ripped out was the deluxe version, so I don't know if that feeds into maybe some of the DLC stuff not being available, or that it might be already be included somewhere in there. I'm not sure. Like I said, this has all been developing over the day. I haven't really gotten the chance to like dig super deep into it, but But yeah, there are some very noted differences between the original version and the version that's on Steam right now. So much so that the executable files of the two versions are different sizes.
Oh my god.
Lord.
Yeah.
All right, but our last story of the evening is a one that really deserves a much more time, but Pokemon Legends Arceus. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, honestly. But more Pokemon coming to the Switch in a game style that people have been craving for ages. It is not the MMO that people have wanted, but you do get an open world style game here out of the Pokemon World experience, and it's not Breath of the Wild. It is. I have. I'm tired of hearing because there's big old vistas of grass and shit. It's not. It's a fucking exploring game. There's grass in the real world in plains that you can easily explore, and Pokemon has grass.
I don't know. Looks like Breath of the Wild to me.
The art style is completely fucking different. Eat a dick.
This is actually like they pulled their inspiration for this off of the wild area in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Mm.
So very much along the same lines, and I'll admit, after having dicked around in that area for a couple of hours, yeah, it's fun. I want this. I need this.
Yeah, Pokemon has been hitting it out of the park lately with a lot of its announcements. Definitely a lot of us slept on Pokemon Sleep, ha ha ha. But between this and Snap 2, definitely some interesting ideas being tossed around right now within the Pokemon.
Yes, for sure. This might be the one game that might get me back into a mainline Pokemon game.
All right, that has been your Mr. Video Games for March the 1st, 2021, and normally I'd go into a spiel about what Mr. Video Games is, but I have to imagine if you've been here this long at this point, you probably know what a Mr. Video Game is. So, our award winner for the week of March 1st, 2021 is a goddamn amazing cosplayer, Hardigan Cosplay, cosplaying from the World of Warcraft series. And especially if you've played World of Warcraft before, watching them build this, I'm just going to put this really quickly in double time motion. They're already double time video here. This takes so long to build. There is so much amazing craftsmanship, and I have always wondered how you would actually put together the funky, chunky ass armor with the giant World Wrestling belt and gigantic shoulders you see in World of Warcraft. They have spent weeks working on this one outfit, and it takes roughly 15 minutes just to get into the outfit. It is amazing what they have done with this. The skin even fucking glows just like Bolvar the Lich King does.
Yeah, I legit thought that it was like edited in post um to get that amazing glow effect, but
Nope.
yeah, nope, apparently not. Built in.
Yeah, built-in lighting, built-in smoke.
Yeah. I saw this and just fell in love. Like, holy shit.
Not gonna lie, made me kind of want to look up some of the cinematics from WoW that I've missed over time because genuinely I have no idea what the fuck's going on, but I remember, oh yeah, their cinematics are real fucking pretty, aren't they? Oh.
I mean, long story short, Sylvanas got power hungry, threw a hissy fit, and broke the skybox.
Yay. All right. So I'm gonna leave this
Tell
running.
me that doesn't sum up
Okay.
Shadowlands in like 4 words.
I'm gonna leave this running. But this has been Mr. Video Games from March 1st, 2021. Not gonna go into the regular spiel or saying, everyone's sign out. I'm very sorry. But we'll of course be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern. Right? No, it's 8 p.m. Eastern. My mind is not working with me today, but we will be back, and we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for whatever the hell we choose to play, which we're going to actually figure out right now, and we'll let you know in the chat room what we're actually doing tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Bye.